In the scorching heat of the Arabian Peninsula, where geopolitical tensions simmer as intensely as the desert sun, a fleet of 28 advanced fighter jets patrols the skies. These aircraft bear the insignia of the Kuwait Air Force, yet their technological heart and industrial soul originate from the assembly lines of Kassel, near Turin. The Eurofighter Typhoon program for Kuwait represents more than a mere commercial transaction valued at roughly 8 billion euros. It stands as a definitive stress test for the Italian defense industry and its ability to lead complex, multinational strategic initiatives. For the Italian observer, this specific procurement offers a fascinating case study in how Leonardo transformed a manufacturing mandate into a projection of soft power and technological supremacy, and effectively outpacing even its European partners in the delivery of next-generation avionics. To understand the magnitude of this achievement, one must first strip away the marketing rhetoric and examine the industrial structure of the Eurofighter consortium. Typically, production and development responsibilities are distributed among the 4 core nations, namely the United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, and Spain. However, the Kuwaiti contract marked a significant departure from standard procedure as it designated Leonardo as the prime contractor. This pivotal shift placed the burden of risk and the glory of execution squarely on Italian shoulders. It required the management of a complex supply chain and the integration of systems that had technically not yet entered service with the host nations themselves. And the successful delivery of these aircraft validates the capacity of the Italian aerospace sector to function as a lead systems integrator rather than merely a supplier of airframes or subcomponents. The most compelling aspect of the Kuwaiti Typhoons lies in their technical specifications, which offer a somewhat ironic reflection on European defense procurement. The aircraft delivered to Kuwait are built to the P3EB standard, a configuration that makes them the most advanced Eurofighters currently in operation anywhere in the world. While the air forces of Germany and the United Kingdom have spent years debating upgrade paths, the Kuwait Air Force received the Captor-E Mark 0 radar ahead of the core partner nations. This active electronically scanned array radar represents a quantum leap over the mechanical scanning radars found on older tranches of the aircraft. By utilizing hundreds of tiny transmit and receive modules, the radar can track multiple targets simultaneously across the sky and ground without the physical lag of a moving dish. It allows the pilot to perform air-to-air tracking while simultaneously scanning for ground threats, a capability that essentially redefines the situational awareness of the platform. For the Italian industry, the integration of the Captor-E serves as a vindication of its electronic warfare sector. The development of this sensor required intense collaboration between the overarching Eurofighter consortium and the specialized electronic divisions of Leonardo. The critics might argue that prioritizing an export client over domestic air forces creates a capability gap at home. However, a more pragmatic analysis suggests that the Kuwaiti contract effectively subsidized the final development and industrialization of this technology. The lessons learned in producing the E-scan radar for Kuwait are now being fed back into the upgrades for the Italian Aeronautica Militare, allowing the domestic fleet to leapfrog developmental hurdles that were cleared using Kuwaiti capital. Beyond the radar, the weapons package integrated into these aircraft transforms them into true multi-role platforms capable of deep strike missions. The integration includes the Storm Shadow cruise missile and the Brimstone air-to-ground missile. This specific combination allows the Kuwaiti fleet to engage high-value, the hardened targets from standoff ranges, keeping the aircraft and pilots outside the lethal envelope of enemy air defense systems. The sheer density of technology packed into these 28 airframes necessitated a rigorous production schedule at the Kassel facility. This factory, traditionally seen as a final assembly line, had to evolve into a hub of advanced systems integration, proving that Italian industrial engineering remains competitive against the manufacturing giants of Northern Europe and North America. However, the hardware tells only half the story. The sustainability of such a complex weapon system relies heavily on the human element, and this is where the Italian strategy reveals its long-term depth. The sale was not a simple handover of keys, but the initiation of a comprehensive ecosystem of training and logistics. The Kuwaiti pilots have been cycling through the International Flight Training School, a joint initiative between the Italian Air Force and Leonardo. Located at Decimo Manu in Sardinia and Galatina in Puglia, this institution utilizes the M346 Master, a jet trainer that is widely regarded as the best in its class for preparing pilots for 4th and 5th generation fighters. By training Kuwaiti officers in Italy, Rome establishes a generational bond with the future leadership of the Kuwait Air Force. These pilots learn to fly according to Italian doctrine, communicate using terminology standard to Italian operations, and develop a professional affinity for the Italian way of warfighting. The strength of this partnership was further cemented by recent developments in late 2025. Despite the initial contract nearing its delivery conclusion, the Kuwaiti Ministry of Defense signed a significant extension for technical support and logistics services, binding the two nations together through the end of 2029. This extension effectively silences earlier skeptical voices that questioned the ability of Italy to provide sustained after-sales support comparable to American or British standards. It demonstrates that the logistical pipeline established by Leonardo is robust enough to maintain high readiness rates in the harsh desert environment, a notorious killer of delicate avionics and engines. From a geopolitical standpoint, the success of the Kuwait program provides Leonardo and the Italian government with critical leverage as they navigate the future of the global combat air program. As Italy collaborates with the United Kingdom and Japan to build a 6th-generation fighter, and the credentials established in Kuwait serve as hard evidence of competence. Italy enters these negotiations not as a junior partner grateful for work share, but as a nation that has successfully managed the export, training, and support for the most advanced iteration of the previous generation. It is also necessary to view this success through a lens of critical realism. The program faced delays and hurdles characteristic of multinational defense projects. The integration of the AESA radar was complex and pushed schedules to the right, creating moments of tension. Yet, the resolution of these technical bottlenecks without abandoning the performance requirements speaks to a resilience in Italian engineering management. The finalized product is not a compromise, but a benchmark. In conclusion, the 28 Eurofighters guarding the airspace over the Persian Gulf are more than military assets for Kuwait. They are flying ambassadors of Italian industrial excellence. They prove that when given the lead, Italian industry does not merely assemble foreign designs, but enhances them, innovating in critical areas like electronic warfare and radar technology. The deal has shifted the perception of Italy from a skilled component supplier to a primary architect of air power. As these aircraft continue to operate under the desert sun, supported by Italian technicians and flown by pilots trained in Sardinia, they offer a compelling argument that in the high-stakes world of defense aerospace, Italian craftsmanship remains a formidable and indispensable force.